Doesn't it just make sense to have more clients to serve? See, now you want to practice them both ways, because either way you're getting a little agreement, aren't you? All right? In your workbook, you'll see I've written a couple for you as examples. You'll also see some blank lines. We would like you, as part of this program, to sit down and write a few of these that are ones you feel good about. Now, you notice in your book what it says? Meeting as many of your clients' needs as possible is important to the growth of your business, isn't it? Gosh, that's a good one. I hope you'll all learn that one. Make it flow. Make it yours, and you watch. They will agree, and you're getting little yeses, aren't you? All right? Now, the next technique is called the alternative choice. Now, let me give the definition of this question. It's a question with two answers. Either answer is a minor agreement. See, instead of asking you now a question you can say yes or no to, I want to ask you a question and give you two choices. And I really don't care which one you choose, because either one is another minor agreement. Now, the finest use of this, and you'll see it throughout the program, is when you want to meet someone, visit with them, try not to ask them a question they can say yes or no to. Like, don't say, when can I come by? They'll say, well, we're awful busy right now. Why don't you warmly say, I can pop by on Tuesday after lunch, or would say Wednesday morning be better for you? Now you've given them two choices. Which did you prefer, me making it in the morning or afternoon? I can rearrange my schedule to meet your needs, John. Would 10 o'clock be convenient, or should I wait till 2 in the afternoon? Now, you will be amazed how if you structure these questions properly, they will choose an answer most of the time. Whereas if you'd have said, when can we get together, they would say, never. So work on the alternative choice. Here's a great little one. This is in your book. I've written this for you. I think you'll have fun with it. You smile, and all of a sudden you say, let's say it's John. John, would you prefer that we train just you and your manager on the operation of the equipment, or should we include the entire staff? You see, I didn't say who should we train. They can't think of anybody. I gave them an alternate. Well, would you come to one of my meetings and train everybody? Then I would use the next type of question, the porcupine, which is number 3, answer a question with a question. Would you come in and train everybody? Don't say yes. Say, is getting training for everyone something you'd really like? When they say yes, they've just bought your training program. What comes with it? Everything else. Oh, you'll have fun with that. Now let me make sure you know what a porcupine question is. It's defined as answering a question with a question and then closing the transaction. Now, many people miss this chance to close the sale. The person might turn to you and suddenly go, now listen, will it take long for me to get my money? How many of you have heard that? And right away you're going, well, let me explain how that works. Why do that? Why not answer that with a question? When they say to you, will it take long for me to get my money? Just smile and say, John, is getting your money quickly one of your primary concerns? When he says yes, say, oh, I'm so excited because of the way we do this. You're going to love it. Let me note that as a concern, so I'll be able to cover that. And now we're going to start using this. See, many of you do not get this out soon enough. What do we call this? Repeat after me. My pen is my friend.
My pen is my friend.
I must get it out sooner.
I must get it out sooner.
Make notes like a consultant.
Make notes like a consultant.
So they get used to me writing.
So they get used to me writing.
So they're not overwhelmed with fear.
So they're not overwhelmed with fear.
When it's time for me to fill out my best friend.
When it's time to fill out my best friend.
Now, if this is your friend, you know what your best friend is? Your paperwork. And we've got to get our friend onto paperwork sooner. That's why I'm really going to ask you to become a note taker when you first meet the merchant. I really would love you to carry a legal pad with you when you go in. And let's say he says to you, I don't have time now, but listen, can you send me information? Well, I'm glad you're at least interested in that. I want to note that you wanted me to send something. Would it be here to the address, or here at the business, or at home? See, there's an alternate. He says, well, no, right here at the business. Can you quickly give me the address? I didn't even see it when I came in. And now you're making notes. You want to become a note taker all the time, because this has to touch paper, or you're not going to do well in this business, right or wrong? Right, okay? So that's the porcupine. Answer the right questions with a question, and then close the transaction and move on to the paperwork. And we're going to cover a few more examples of that in another session. This next question is called the involvement question. Now, the definition is a question they have to ask themselves after they've said yes to your offering. Meaning, they have agreed to the lease, they've agreed to have you come in and install, they've agreed to the training, they've said yes. There are decisions they have to make. Where do you think the terminal would be best as far as your people is concerned? When do they decide where to put it? After they own it. By getting to talk about it before they do, we're calling this involving them with ownership. Are you all with me on that? It's like throwing them into the future and having them make decisions they'll have to make afterwards. Now, John, based on the size of your business, some of my clients want our statements sent to the home rather than the office. Which would be best for you? Oh, I think right here. See, that's an involvement question. That's a decision they have to make after they say yes. So those 4 questions, the tie down, the inverted tie down, a use of the tie down, the alternative choice, the porcupine, answer a question with a question, and this involvement question, they're critical you practice them and make them part of your repertoire. Also, let me give you some other things. We talked about the pen. We talked about note-taking. It's so important when you walk in that you create a feeling that you are assuming you're going to do business. Now, this is a mental attitude you have to have. From the moment your car drives into the business or you walk in, I want you to walk in saying to yourself, I will do business with this company. If they are any way qualified, they will be a Card Service International client. You with me on that? You'd be amazed what happens with the power of going in assuming you're going to close that transaction. Then we're going to develop our sensitivity as to when the time is right to close. You'll have some clients who are ready after 10 seconds. Yeah, you helped a friend of mine up the street. And, well, how do we get started? You won't do a long presentation with this client. You with me on that? You should have your application, your paperwork. You should be right there ready to close. I also want you to make sure that you get them used to your writing. That's why I believe you should carry some type of pad. It could just be a legal pad binder like mine is here. It could be just a regular pad. Why? I want this to come out sooner. I want them to realize that you're a consultant. You're an advisor. You're going to make notes. And when you ask the minor closing questions, which we'll be teaching you in a session, which is a small question, the answer to which confirms the fact they're going ahead, you will then move on to the paperwork. And it's so important that you close the sale, which is what we're working up to, not when you're ready, but when they're ready. Now, you could ask one little tie-down question. John, you would be interested in increasing your profitability, wouldn't you? Well, yes, and do you know how we can do that, Tom? If we have the answers, are you ready to let us help you? We're very excited. What do we do next? You get them to get up and get their driver's license and get all the materials, the Social Security number, and all the things you need, and let's do business. The sooner you get on your paperwork, the more closed transactions you will have at the end of the year. Don't you agree? Excellent.